What if electricity was not discovered in modern times? What if it was already known thousands of years ago? In ancient Mesopotamia, a simple clay jar was found. Inside it, a copper cylinder and an iron rod, a structure that should not exist in that era. Could this be the world's first battery? In 1936, during a railway construction southeast of Baghdad, this jar was uncovered. It was found inside an ancient tomb dating back to around 250 BC. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary container. But as researchers looked closer, things began to change. Inside the jar and around its opening, traces of asphalt were found. This asphalt was used to fix the iron rod inside the copper cylinder and to seal the jar, which means this structure was not random. Even more intriguing, the corrosion on the copper surface and the use of asphalt for insulation suggests that there was once a liquid inside the jar. There are different opinions about this object. According to some, this is a 2,000-year-old electrical battery, which would mean ancient people may have known about electricity. But not everyone agrees. Others believe it is nothing more than a misinterpreted simple jar. So, what is the truth? Today, we explore the mystery behind this ancient object. In 1938, German archaeologist Wilhelm Koenig examined this object, and he made a striking claim. This could be a galvanic cell, meaning ancient people may have generated electricity. But was this really possible? If the jar was filled with an acidic liquid, such as vinegar or grape juice, it could produce a low-voltage electric current. This theory caused a major reaction in the scientific world of the time. Years later, the idea was tested. Scientists recreated the same setup. They filled the clay jar with grape juice, vinegar, and a copper sulfate solution, and the result was surprising. This simple structure produced between 1 and 1.5 volts of electricity. According to some researchers, these jars were not used alone. They may have been connected together to generate a stronger current, and this current could have been used to coat metals. In other words, a primitive electrolysis system. This method is believed to have been used during the Persian era and passed down through generations, which means these batteries may have been used to coat jewelry with silver or gold. Another theory suggests these devices were used in medicine. Ancient Greek texts describe how electric fish were used to relieve pain. Some sources even suggest Babylonian doctors used these fish for local anesthesia. So electricity was not entirely unknown in that time. But what if these jars served the same purpose? One of the researchers who focused on this idea was Paul Kaiser from the University of Alberta. Kaiser studied bronze and iron needles found near Babylon in the region of Seleucia, and suggested that these needles may have been used together with battery-like devices. In a paper published in 1993, he proposed an even more intriguing idea. These needles may have been used in a treatment similar to electroacupuncture, a method known from ancient China. Some researchers, however, consider a much more unusual possibility. These batteries may have been used in rituals. Dr. Paul Craddock, a metallurgist at the British Museum, proposed a striking theory. He suggested that this device may have been placed inside a metal statue. People approaching the statue would answer questions asked by a priest, and if the answer was wrong, they would feel a mild electric shock in their body. Similar to static electricity, a sudden tingling sensation. Perhaps this sensation was seen as a miracle, a sign of a higher power. And this made the priest and the temple seem even more mysterious, but no such statue has ever been found, which means this theory remains only a possibility. In 2003, during the Iraq War, the Iraq National Museum was heavily looted. Thousands of priceless artifacts were stolen or destroyed, and the Baghdad Battery disappeared in this chaos. Today, the jar is gone. Perhaps its answers disappeared with it. This loss is a silent reminder of the damage war and looting inflict on human history. But one question still remains. Was this just an ordinary jar, or a piece of knowledge that humanity once discovered and then forgot?